From the top rope to your collection, this collecting the 1, 2, 3 presented by Cardboard Dugout. I am your host, Moon 3PO, and this is my tag team partner, Bro PO, coming with a packed episode. But before we get into that, Bro PO, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. In the Survivor Series spirit, the turkey's coming. The Survivor Series is coming. Yeah. Other than that, I'm good.
Yes, it is turkey season. It's Survivor Series season. Always a good time around this time of the year. I absolutely love the holiday spooky season, Thanksgiving, then straight into Christmas. Absolutely one of my favorite times of the year. But yes, this episode here is gonna be jam-packed. We have a lot of things going in the episode. And we did take a couple of weeks off again. Obviously, Bro Pro, you were on vacation. I was busy. So we took some weeks off here. So I think it's been like 2 weeks. I think the last episode we recorded was John Cena becoming a Grand Slam champion, which we've had the last time is now tournament. We could probably dabble into that a little bit if the conversation comes up here. But yeah, we got a jam-packed episode here. We got some card talk. Not the best card talk, but we do got some card talk here. Of course, if you've been following the content here, the short form content, you guys know we do have a BAPE Tops and WWE collection dropping Wednesday, which hopefully this episode might be out on Wednesday. If not on Friday, on Friday, you can still purchase the cards on the Complex website. So you'll still have the opportunity to do that. Wednesday, they're dropping on the Tops Now website. And of course, if you're in San Diego, they will be dropping those cards at the Superstore. So we will be talking about that during the time when we're away as well. We did have Topps Universe. We did get some crazy sneak peeks here. We're supposed to have the pre-order. Unfortunately, like in good old Topps fashion, that was unfortunately delayed. So obviously we'll talk about that. Obviously not too much we can go into, but there's, some sneak peeks, some inserts that we saw that obviously we could dive a little bit deeper into that. Like we talked about here, it is the Survivor Series season. We only got 4 matches, so not a lot of prediction, not a lot of crazy talk regarding that. Of course, we could talk about the build up to War Games, all that kind of good stuff, how we feel about it, things of that nature. But we will be doing our Survivor Series predictions. And of course, if you tuned in 2 weeks ago, I believe, or was it a month ago? Was it last episode or the previous episode? Whatever time ago, we did discuss here. Bro here brought it up to the attention here that we should do a top 5 or top in general favorite Survivor Series team, which is we're going to do here. So it's going to be interesting to see how alike we are or how a little bit different we are. I think I don't know.
We kind of think of the same way, and so we tend to trend to like the same wrestlers. So when I was going through them, I was like, man, some of these we might have the same, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So it's going to be very interesting because obviously we did not talk about this. We did not obviously we planned it, but we did not talk about it. We didn't say like, hey, did you watch this Survivor Series or did you watch this, and that, and the third? Like we did not talk about it at all. So of course, everybody always says that we think like we're very similar. So this I think might be a true test of that. But of course, that's going to be towards the end of the episode. But let's first talk about some cards here. Let's first start off with Topps Universe because that was first what was announced. And again, there's not really too much to talk about as far as right now. We were supposed to get the pre-order last Monday. That did not happen. And then it seemed like we were potentially going to be getting this here potentially this week. Again, did not happen. And again, it's kind of what we've echoed of what we were talking about here when we launched the podcast, or if you tune into the short form or long form content over at Moon 3P over on TikTok or YT, is that obviously Fanatics and Topps have a lot of licenses and involvement in other things right now. Obviously, Topps basketball is a very big thing right now. Topps Chrome is coming out soon. Flagship Series 2 just came out. So there's a lot of eggs in the different type of baskets here. And obviously WWE is not one of them right now, which again, like I've talked about, it makes sense. WWE is a small little niche of what Topps and Fanatics brings in. So of course, we're going to put a lot more effort into those products and into promoting those products and what's going to be released. So we did get, unfortunately, we got Top Universe being delayed here. But from the sneak peeks here, this looks like a very fun set. We are getting away from the Chrome-esque. So if you haven't been a fan of the Topps Chrome Sapphire, Cactus Jack, and Finest, and just want to get away from all that, this is definitely going to be the set for you. Lot brighter colors as well. We went from Cactus Jack to Finest, which are some of the darker, grayer tones that kind of fit that set. Specifically, Cactus Jack Finest, I thought would be a little bit brighter, but it wasn't, even though it still plays out pretty well, especially with some of the color as well. It does still look very, very nice. A lot of bright color. We are getting relics here. This is going to be the first time that we're seeing match use, event use relics for the first time in this new requiring a license. Obviously, older products have had relics before, but in the requirement of the license here, this would be the first time that we're seeing uh, some relics coming back here. Of course, some sneak peeks that they showed was the tag team dual autographs that had Jimmy and Jey Uso, which I know that was kind of being criticized a little bit just because of the landscape here of the design of the card. We got ringside relics, and then we got the title marks relic autograph, which they previewed here a card of Cody Rhodes. This show off some other inserts as well, and got a couple of other sneak peeks of some autographs. Again, not too much to talk about with Universe, just because again, we don't have a checklist, we don't have odds, we don't have a price point, so nothing really to talk about as far as the only thing realistically we can only talk about is the previews that we have so far. So I guess I'll throw it over to you, Bro Pio. Initial reaction of Topps Universe, and I guess a follow up on that as well is: are you surprised or a little bit disappointed with the delay that we have for Topps Universe?
Yeah, I did like the design. Like you said, it was more of a brighter color coming from like even like if you want to go all the way back to like the regular base Topps Chrome, it was kind of plain. And then they went Sapphire, but that's a different story. Cactus Jack and Finest were obviously a little bit like darker in colors. So it was really not too much there. So I first saw them, I was like, all right, cool. Now we're getting some colors. It looked a little like it looked real spacey. It reminded me some of those Panini products, like those Astro Night ones, or what
Astro
they call
Knights,
it,
yeah.
Astro. Yeah, it looked like that. Honestly, that's what it kind of looked
That's a
like.
good
So I was
call out.
digging it. Yeah, so it did look pretty cool. I know like we saw a couple of other ones, like there was the Bray Wyatt one. I don't remember what the card was called, but it had like the mask, but he was like kind of burned.
Mass insert. That's the name of it there.
There you go. It would be pretty cool. I mean, obviously we don't have a checklist, but I mean, it'd be really cool to see if like maybe they had a replica of that mask. Maybe like they cut it up, put it into some relics. I mean, I don't know. That'd definitely be a big chase, obviously. But if coming down to like the whole like I don't know what I'm not disappointed. But I'm also not like shocked that it delayed. It's kind of just like, all right, here we go again. Like this is the same thing what happened with Cactus Jack, where they announced it, the pre-orders, and then we went like what about a month and a half with like no news. So it's kind of in the same boat as we are here. I don't know what the holdup is. I find it hard to believe that they would announce like a pre-order date and then like within a week that it was supposed to happen, like nothing, like it. There's no news. I find it hard to believe. So I'm so curious to know, like, what is it that makes them announce a pre-order date and then they're just like, oh, you know what, we're not ready, and they just pull it. Like it's just crazy. And obviously, some of the wrestlers are still signing cards. Like I think this past week we saw Kyrie was signing cards, like some relics. So I don't know if it was for this set or if it was for Universe, or this is Universe, but I don't know if it's for a different set. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting. But again, I'm just like I'm not surprised, and it's just more annoying than anything, I want to say.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. It's a lot just more annoying. I think I would think it's probably maybe like a logistics thing. I think I don't know. I don't work for Topps, nor do I am like associated with Topps and or Fanatics. I don't own a shop as well, so I don't know what goes on the back end. That may be like an Adam Gilman or maybe like a Babyface Breaks question, because obviously they're kind of into, well, especially Babyface Breaks. So I don't know, being involved with ASB, so maybe that's a question to ask him. But yeah, I don't know if it's a logistics thing. Yeah, it's just more just like disappointed. We were at the end, all close to the end of the year already, and we've had what 4 products released and a whole year of really of regaining the license here. And I know some people will be like, well, it's the first, like they're learning again, they're trying to mark up and do this and that and the third. I don't give a damn. Like that's just making excuses. Like I get it, it could be like that, but I think if you're Topps and Fanatic and you're gearing up to gain all these licenses and be like the major distribution for all these sports and companies, like you better be ready to disperse product. So I think that's like the biggest disappointment of all of it. But yeah, it's nothing unusual. Yeah, some of the inserts here look pretty good. The Rage insert looks good. We had a preview of CM Punk on that one. That looked pretty cool. The WWE Together insert, that one looks fucking weird. I'm gonna be completely honest with that. It has like Kane and Undertaker like floating in space. Like that one looks kind of weird.
I really hope that's not like a case hit too, because it's just gonna like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna fly well.
Yeah, I saw it. Like, that's not the best looking card here. The ringside relics look like the NT big old patch there.
That's a little
So
concerning. I thought they were gonna get away from that whole like big black shirt. I mean, it doesn't help that like 99.9% of the WWE shirts are like black, but I'm like, come on, can't you get like a little bit of the graphic on there? So
Yeah,
I know I saw some, and I don't know. Again, I don't know if it was for Universe, but I know like the Creed brothers signing some. Um, and it
but
was
that's
like
for
a little
royalty.
circle patch royalty. Okay, and I'm assuming this.
Yeah,
What about the one that? I mean, this was months ago, but like Johnny Gargano had signed some stuff, and he
that's
like wrote
universe.
that. Okay, so I mean, there you go. So I know he had wrote on there like those were like or the trunks he wore at SummerSlam or something
Yeah,
like that, or
and they
the
won
ones he
the
won the tag team
SmackDown.
SmackDown.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I really hope that a majority of these aren't these big black napkins because yeah,
yeah. The Cody
that's
one
my
that they
feeling.
showed had like had like a little bit of red, white, and a star on the blue. Granted, it's just like a render photo, but it kind of gives you an idea. So I'm hoping that's what we saw. Do you also have like a weird, like awkward, like WrestleMania one where it just had the circle of WrestleMania? I don't know if that means that there's going to be a patch right there. But they did also have that. So who
Was
knows what that.
was this supposed to be the set with the patches, the WrestleMania patches?
So from my knowledge, that's going to be safe for royalty. Royalty is going to be like the big
Uh,
one, like the very
that's supposed
big,
to be
like
like
relics. That's
NC.
the yeah, like NT or Flawless, where they have like the
Yeah.
diamonds and like the big jumbo patches, like the one that Kari was signing that was confirmed for royalty. The Brutus
Sorry.
brothers, those were also royalty as well. My
Mhm.
assumption, and from what we've seen and heard, granted, it's nothing been confirmed, but I think from the Rumble is that that's going to be saved for royalty, which is going to be like their bigger set. So yeah, I think this is
Mhm.
here will just be a little bit of a taste, a little bit tipping your toes in the water as far as what can be expected. And then obviously royalty will be some of the bigger relics, patches, things like that, which can be a little bit better, which I think they have a lot of shoes to fill with that. Cause obviously I know again short form content, but I was talking about the AEW SPUs, like some of those are pretty cool. I
Yeah, I
get
was about
about
to
it on TikTok
bring that up too. A little bit of AEW card talk for you sickos out there, but the few
for
breaks
the
that I saw,
sickos.
I mean they had some pretty cool relics. I think like the banner year ones, like those have a lot of good color in there, and I saw some pretty nice hits. I saw that like I think I was watching a break. I think you were probably watching too from Mama Rings last night that they pulled like
Mhm.
a steel chair relic card,
So chairs
a turnbuckle card. I'm like, damn, that's pretty cool. So yeah, cards are pretty sick. No pun intended for the sickos, but
for the
yeah,
sickos. And for the sickos,
yeah.
so you should be proud of me. I've been watching a lot more AEW recently. For the sickos, you should be proud of me. I watched Blood and Guts the other day. I forgot you're on vacation, but man, the sickos came after me for the other day. I was it was when Brock Lesnar came back, and then Roman Reigns came back, and I put out a post on Twitter or X, where you want to call it. I was like, oh, everybody who was talking shit about the men's war game is suddenly quiet. And a couple of sickos came into my mentions. They're like, no, war games, blood and guts clears, blood and guts. I'm like, dude, why can't you just enjoy both of them? Like, I don't get the division. Like, you can enjoy both company. I don't get you sickos sometimes. I wouldn't say I'm a classified full sicko. Maybe I'm getting there because I've been watching a little bit more of it. I
You
don't
got
know.
you sniffles.
Yeah, I got a little bit of the sniffles. So I watched both Blood and Guts. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And then we were talking about off camera. They just announced Okada versus Kyle Fletcher. I think that's going to be a pretty good match for the Continental Classic. I know they're doing a cool thing, right? I think it's like a blue and a red or something like that. Kyle O'Reilly and John Moxley just had another insane match this past Saturday at Full Gear. So, and then they had the steel cage match as well, which I did watch a little bit of it. I was busy Saturday, so I didn't get to catch the full thing. But for you sickos out there, here we go. Maybe there's some more AEW cards because those cards are kind of sick. So no, I get no
Yeah,
pun
and affordable. I think they were like what a
and
110.
affordable. Yeah,
Yeah,
110, 120. And I think maybe like if your local hobby shop is like doing a promotion or something, like maybe Black Friday deals, you can maybe find a cheaper little box. So if you're again listening to this on Friday, maybe go check out your local LCSs or even online too. I know like Steel City Collectibles, David Adams, they do a lot of like Black Friday promos. So hey, maybe that's a good little cheap entry point there. So yeah, it was something that I've been keeping my eye on here. Was trying to bid on a couple of them as well, but some of them just got a little bit pricey. I was like, I ain't gonna bother with that.
yeah,
But yeah, so again, Universe seemed like a fun set. Obviously here when we get more confirmation, we'll obviously cover it a little bit more. We'll cover the checklist, all that kind of good stuff when that is officially announced here. But what has been announced is going to be the Fanatics WWE and BAPE collab, which I still can't believe I'm freaking saying it. It is a interesting collab, to say the least here. Now, full disclosure, I know absolutely nothing about BAPE. I know they're a streetwear brand. I know they're a very expensive streetwear brand. I don't know what this freaking Baby Milo is. I don't know what the concept of it. I know it's obviously it's an ape. I know that. RIP Harambe, but I don't know full context of like what it stands for, what it means. Again, I know it's basically like a what's the supreme type thing. I think it's where it's kind of going to as far as that. So that's kind of where it's at right now. So again, tomorrow, Wednesday, again, depending on when you're listening to this, Wednesday is available on Tops. You can get these cards at the Superstore, and then Friday, which again, latest you'll be listening to this here, is available on the Complex website. So I would highly recommend you go check out the Complex website. It has a full breakdown of everything. They also do have T-shirts as well. So if you're into the clothing brand itself, they are going to be having some exclusive T-shirts, which are freaking pricey. Even the T-shirts are freaking pricey. But these cards here, pretty interesting, give or take, depending on who you're asking. So again, these cards here are dropping this week. You're gonna get one box, one pack, 5 cards per pack, and it's gonna be for $135, not including shipping and handling. So I'm pretty sure you're gonna be looking at anywhere up to close to $150 for 5 cards. You are guaranteed 2 premium base cards, 2 base parallel cards, and 1 Baby Milo insert card. You're not guaranteed to auto. There is the opportunity to pull autographs, but there is the opportunity to pull one. Some of the base parallels here, we got the white camo, which is not numbered. We got 199, the red camo, 150 blue, 99 yellow, 75 purple, 50 black and white. 25 pink was they did do a preview Tiffany Shrine. I thought that card looked pretty sick. 10 black camo, 5 multi camo, and then the 1 is a gold and gold. 1 is a gold camo. The Baby Milo inserts you got out of 75 the purple, 50 blacks. Again, pinks 25, 10s blacks, 5 multi, and then you have the gold camo. And there's also image variations of John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and Stone Cold. There's out of 50s, again, same colors. And then, of course, they do have a full checklist here, having basically all of your main supers. There's only 32 cards, so not a lot of cards, give or take. But the print run is going to be pretty high, in my opinion, or from what I've seen, just because the highest print, again, parallel is out of 199. So that gives me an indication that there's going to be quite a bit of this product available. And since they're kind of distributed in 3 different areas, that, again, gives me an idea that there is a good opportunity that if you're interested in these boxes, that there may be a good opportunity to obtain these boxes. I put in my short form content in the video that I put out here. Again, like I just clarified, I'm not the biggest BAPE fan. I don't wear BAPE. I don't wear it. I don't own a t-shirt, never have bought it, never have worn it. I know there's definitely is a market for that. I know some other social media content creators are like really, really hyping up the set and really, really excited for it. I get the appeal. It just isn't for me. I don't know how you feel about it, bro. I think you're kind of in the same boat as me. The price point, some of the designs do look cool. I did mention like I do want the CM Punk card just because it's in his Fantastic Four inspired gear. So that's like the only thing that I would be like willing to chase, but it has to be for like a decent price point. Like I'm not going to be paying $50 to $100 for a base card. That's just ridiculous. But yeah, I think the cards look cool. I think they do look fine. Again, it's not like, oh my God, these are the best cards ever. Is it the best appeal ever? No. Is it the best collab ever? No. I think it is, again, very cool, but it's just not for me.
Yeah. This is something that I'm with you. I have no idea what BAPE is. I know it's a clothing line, but no clue what it is, what it stands for. From what I've seen on here, like from the BAPE website, it says it's a globally known streetwear brand based in Japan. So that's what we got from. Which I did see somebody point out that since it's a company based in Japan, they're surprised that there's not a little bit more like Japan wrestlers. I think the only one that's on like there's no Asuka, there's no Kairi, there's no Shinsuke, wrestlers like that. So somebody did point that out on Twitter, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
But yeah, this is something that's kind of just like I'd have to see what the card looks like, honestly. And it just would be like if I like the card and if it's at a good price where I feel like it's beneficial to me, it'd probably be more like a PC thing. It's not gonna be something that I'm gonna like just grab and hold and see what happens to it. But I don't know. I'm excited to see it. Like this is kind of also I don't know if there's gonna be breaks for this on Fanatics Live or stuff like that. But this is just something to keep your eyes on. I know there'll probably be like a lot of since it's gonna be at the Superstore in San Diego. I'm pretty sure we'll see a lot of people ripping it online and TikTok and stuff like that. So it'd be pretty interesting to keep an eye on that, and you know how those prices can be like day one. Like once people start ripping and start selling, like those prices tend to get crazy. So it's gonna be interesting to keep an eye on. But I think it's gonna be one of those things that once it comes out, it might just cool down within the next couple of months, and you'll find it like pretty soon at your like card shows and stuff like that for a price. So I'll probably just wait around for that. So, but yeah, like even like the baby Milo ones, like they kind of just don't do it for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm looking like right now. I'm looking at the Roman Reigns one. It's just like okay, I don't know. Looks kind of like a Funko Pop in a way, but yeah, like even the John Cena auto one, it's like you know, I'd rather just have like an actual image of John Cena instead of a baby Milo, whatever it is. Yeah,
I
mean,
think it takes
the Tiffany Stratton one's pretty cool. Like it has the color match, like it has the pink camo, and then she has like pink gear on. So that does look pretty cool. But other than that, I don't know how I feel about it. But might have to steer clear of this one.
Yeah, and so again, we're definitely gonna
leave it for the BAPE collectors who like.
Yeah, I was about to say it takes a specific BAPE collector and like someone who wears that streetwear and is like into that kind of stuff to like and into wrestling that would this is perfect for you. Even the t-shirts are super expensive. That's $135 for that as well. So again, if you're into all that, again, that is available on the BAPE and Complex website. But yeah, we're in the same boat here. Doesn't really get me going a little bit. Again, I'll monitor. We're obviously going to monitor it and make videos about it and talk about it because it is definitely interesting. Obviously, anytime WWE hits a trading card product or apparel or whatever, we're obviously going to keep an eye on it here. And like you mentioned here, we're probably going to see some high sales. We'll probably see some crazy pre-order eBay screenshots tomorrow morning and probably Friday morning as well. So yeah, something to definitely keep an eye out here as we move forward throughout the Survivor Series weekend, which that is a perfect segue to War Games, as William Regal will like to say here. We got a whooping four matches on this card, so we got a lot of matches to talk about. Wink, wink.
Love it.
Gotta love it. So it means probably tells you here that these freaking War Game matches are going to be like 45 minutes an hour, give or take here. As there are going to be some long ones here. So again, 4 matches, so not too much to really talk home about. So I guess we'll just kick off where I would think the way they're going to probably lead up to this. We'll obviously save the steel cages matches for last. But let's start kick it off here with the Women's World Championship match here. We got Stephanie McCurry versus Nikki Bella. This one here, I think, pretty
right answer here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like these yeah, there's really not much to write home about this match here. Obviously, I would believe all the betting odds and Vegas favorite odds will put your money on Stephanie McCurry because I do not see her dropping the belt this soon, or if she would be dropping the belt, she's definitely not dropping it to Nikki Bella. No disrespect to Nikki Bella, obviously. I think we talked about a last podcast episode too. Like, I don't dislike her. Like, I don't hate her. Like, there's a lot of hate for on the internet. I can kind of see where it stems from, but I'm not like, oh gosh, she's on my TV. Like, I gotta turn this off. Like, I'm not in that area. She's in the area for me where like I really don't care for it. I don't really like it. The heel turn is a lot better. Don't get me wrong. It's like the stupid like baby face, like, oh, like I did this for the division. I did this and that, the third, like your inspiration. Like she may be, but that's not the way that I view her in my personal opinion. But yeah, this match doesn't really do anything for me. But yeah, I got Stephanie McCurry taking this one.
Yeah, I'm the same. There's if for some reason Nikki Bella was to walk away with this title, there will be riots in the streets and there will be chaos in Petco Park. So, yeah, I got Stephanie McCurry taking this one. Hopefully, after this, they really showcase her more on TV. I don't know what it is about these damn world titles that were once they put the belt on them, they just disappear. Like it happened to Io, and now it's happening for Stephanie, and I just don't know what it is. And it's very, very confusing. And I know Jade's been on TV now. Obviously, we're talking about something else, but just about the title in general. But like Jade's obviously has a title now. I haven't really watched SmackDown too much just because I've been on the Battle Fridays or have been tended a little bit better lately. But from what I've seen from clips, she has been on SmackDown. I know she knocked out BFAB this past Friday. So hopefully they don't give her the disappearing treatment. But anyways, that's off subject. But yeah, Stephanie McCurry, the dub. Nikki Bella. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where she goes from here, honestly. So
Neither do I.
especially now, like honestly, they need to bring back Brie Bella and just wreak havoc like as heels. Like that's what they need to do. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I don't know where they go from here. Maybe she goes away for a little bit, then comes back. I don't know, reset it again. I really don't know. Maybe it's throwing it to the IC title picture, maybe with Maxine. Like that's a good little like if you're really gonna try to
Okay.
elevate
Oh
like
yeah.
like a true baby face and like underdog esque, like that maybe that's the route you go. But
It
yeah,
was a total diva fan too. So there you go. There's some
yeah.
good
So there's
some good story right there.
yeah, I would say that story's lined up there. So have her wrap this up really quick and then throw her into Maxine and kind of have that, lead the way here. I don't know how good those matches will be, but I mean, it'll kind of hopefully carry on I don't want to say lineage, but kind of carry on the hype that Becky Lynch and the respect for the women's IC title that Becky Lynch has built up for that. Obviously what we can say for the women's US championship. So I think that's the route they can go. Hopefully that's the route they do, but obviously time will tell with that. But speaking of the Intercontinental Championship here, let's talk about the men's Intercontinental Championship here. We got Dirty Dom versus John Cena for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. This one here is interesting because there's different ways that you can go. Obviously, we kind of tinted here a little bit the last time was now tournament, which I believe is freaking cursed. We had Penta hurt, we now have Sheamus hurt. So I believe this tournament is just absolutely freaking cursed. So it's more, and it looks like the favorite is going to be Gunther, obviously on both sides here. It seems like that's going to be the favorite here. There was maybe a little bit momentum for Carmelo, but obviously that didn't happen. There was even maybe a little bit of momentum for Javon. That, of course, didn't happen, courtesy of Gunther. So it's more the case here. I'm thinking ahead of time is like, okay, if Gunther is your guy to face John Cena, is the IC title going to be on the line for it as well? Like, is that going to be a stipulation? That's kind of where I'm at. In my personal opinion, I don't think you need the IC title for the last match. I think it being John Cena's last match is already enough. So I don't think you need to have the John Cena's last match and then the IC title added on top of that. So I really don't think that's gonna happen. And obviously, again, we're in San Diego. This is where Dirty Don's from. So I think that win would be absolutely enormous there if he does win again. But yeah, that's where my brain is at right now. So with all that being said, I do have Dirty Dom retaining this. Obviously, we kind of talked about it as well. Like John Cena has talked about like putting over the young talent. He got his win in Boston. That was for the Boston crowd, for the Grand Slam champion. You got that. And now it's just time to drop it again and give it to Dirty Dom, who can obviously carry on with the IC title, whatever that holds. If that's Rusev, Sheamus, Penta, hopefully he's not hurt for longer than, as it seems like it's a serious injury from what I heard. Hopefully it's not as long. But yeah, this one here, got Dirty Dom taking back the IC title, becoming a 2-time IC champion.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you on that one too. I think Dirty Dom's gonna probably take the title back here because I was the same way like you. I think when he won the IC title, we weren't too sure like who was gonna kind of get like closer to like the semifinal rounds or even the finals of the last time is now tournament. And now that it's kind of thinning out, which I think we're down to like what Gunther's gonna face Solo. Spoiler alert for people who haven't watched SmackDown, but it's obviously taped. And the rumor was that it was, I think, LA Knight fought The Miz, and I think LA Knight went over, if I'm not mistaken. And so he's going to be facing Rusev, if I'm not. No, Jay won. Jay's going to beat Rusev, I think. I think Jay's advancing, if I'm not mistaken, from the spoilers that I saw. I think. I think
Honestly, I did
Jay's
not know.
fighting. Oh, okay. Spoiler. It's Friday.
I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What are you talking about? But I forgot they pre-taped SmackDown. I was like,
They
I knew
pre-taped
about
the
the
last.
Miz.
Yeah.
I knew about the Miz. I didn't know about that one. That's all right.
I think if I'm not mistaken, Jay is going over on Rusev. So you're pretty much Jay versus LA Knight and then Gunther. And anyways, if for some reason this doesn't happen, we just bleep this whole fucking conversation out. And beep. But yeah, I'm like you. I think had there been like newer stars that were in the tournament and like an Obafemi or like Javon had he gone further into it, or even like one of the surprise guests like a Matt Cardona or like Dolph Ziggler had they advanced, like maybe the Intercontinental title could have probably been on the line. I know I had like a couple while I predict like maybe Oba. This was a good way to get Oba on the scene, and then like have the Intercontinental, like have him take it off John Cena as Ari's main event. Obviously, it's not the case. So for that reason, I'm with you. I don't think if Gunther does end up winning this tournament, which I do think he is, it doesn't need the IC belt, nor should Gunther go back to the IC belt. So yeah, for that reason alone, and obviously Dirty Dom in his hometown, rolling with Dirty Dom, getting back the IC title.
Yeah, so that's obviously I would love to have a John Cena victory here at his last Survivor Series, but yeah, I just don't see it in the cards for this. I think again, kind of where it's lining up here, I just don't think I don't see that. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know what the favorites are showing right now. But yeah, I would put if I was a betting man, not financial advice, I would put my money on Dirty Dom. But that's just where I'm at here, and the booker in me is looking at moving forward. But let's now head into the women's War Games match here. This one here, pretty stacked for both teams here and for both the men's as well. But we'll kick it off here with the women's just because that's the way that I'm reading it. So one team here, we got Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, and the captain AJ Lee. And then we have here Nia Jax, Last Legend, the Kabuki Warriors, so that being Asuka and Kairi Sane. And then we got who's acting like the captain and kind of just gloating, Becky Lynch, which she's got a phenomenal promo on Monday, man. Her heel work has just been top notch here. Every time Becky Lynch is on screen, you're in for a killer segment. This one here, based on that, just because the way that she was kind of like talking about her teammates and kind of the way she was cutting that promo there, it's kind of like, oh, like I built up Nia, like I built up like her and Asuka have had war that you've only beaten me like one time and things of that nature. That's where I think the fault of that team is going to lead to. And it seems like here, we've seen Rhea and Charlotte. They had a little bit of disagreement here, but now they're on the same page. Even doing a random suck it on Monday Night Raw was completely random. I was like, okay, like we're doing that again. So that was kind of was showing here that they're in a cohesive unit there. And I don't think you're going to have AJ Lee lose her second match, which to me, I told the wife, like, man, her second match here and they're throwing it into her freaking War Games match. Like, welcome back, freaking AJ Lee. That's freaking insane. And even during she's never been like in a type of match like that. So I'm kind of a steel cage match in general, like any type of like gimmicky match. I don't think she's ever really been in. So gonna be curious to see how that
at the time when she was there, those were really down for the women.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah,
I know they had that like that. I don't know. Was that? No, I know back in the day, Lita and Trish, I want to say, fought in a steel cage, but I don't know exactly the time frame of it. I know obviously they had that main event on Raw that they did, but I want to say they did a steel cage match as well. But that was all you really saw from the women, and like after with AJ Lee, like after she left, that's when we started getting all like the all the gimmicky matches for the women as well. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see her. With that, I'm assuming she would be like the last one to come out, just for that reason alone. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see her in this kind of match too.
Yeah, so I was telling the wife I was literally trying to like, this is like her second match back in OWB, being like, oh, we're gonna throw you in a damn War Games match, and again, her first like ever gimmick match. So that's gonna be very, very interesting to see and then see how that all plays out here. Obviously, we're probably gonna see our typical Io Sky trash can over the head dive, so that's gonna be exciting to see. But yeah, this one here, I do got the team of AJ Lee taking this one here. Again, I think the leadership of Becky will be a little bit of a fault there. Again, I don't think you're going to have a team of AJ Lee lose right now. And I feel like if and when she does lose eventually, it's going to be like a match like Becky Lynch or something like that, something along those lines there. But yeah, this one here, I do got the team of AJ Lee taking this one here.
Yeah. Yeah, that team is too stacked. Real quickly too, like how did they? I wonder how they came across like AJ and Becky being captains when like the last people to get added to the match.
I know. No
sense but anyways, this may be a story for another day. But yeah, this one I got so AJ Lee's team. Obviously, I got winning. I had saw some rumblings on the internet that there was rumors of like a Charlotte or Alexa heel turn. And people were trying to like relay it to kind of like, I don't know if you've seen it, but in the War Games back in NXT, when Dakota Kai turned on
yeah,
Tia Knox, so people were trying to like
shit out of her.
Sure. Yeah, which incidentally, she was on Rhea's team. I think Dakota Kai was on Rhea's team. So the people were trying to like kind of get at what they're kind of got. I don't think they're gonna necessarily, especially the pairing with what I know we talked about this last week too, or a couple weeks ago, but her and like Alexa Bliss, like the pairing, and so I don't think they should just tear it all apart now just because they're not tag team champions anymore. I think they should just continue with it, and it's rolling well. It's working well. So, and then you have Rhea and Io. Yeah, this team is just too stacked, and I don't see them losing at all. Who's gonna take the pin? My money's gonna be on Nia probably. Not betting advice, but I'm gonna go with Nia. Shout out to freaking Lash Legend though, and for her to be like just so new up on the main roster, and then to just immediately throw her into the war game, and then so quickly be in the ring with like the people like Rhea, AJ, Becky, the Kabuki Warriors, stuff like that. Alexa, I think shows you like how high they're going to be on Lash Legend and stuff like that. So that might be something to keep an eye on. Keep an eye. Even the Dark Mark, just a lot of autos out there. She's in Cactus Jack. She's in, I think she's in Finest too, if I'm not mistaken, and she's also in Topps Chrome. So yeah, there might be some. If you're looking for somebody who might be sneaky pick, Lash Legend might be somebody to keep an eye on. She throws forearms like a damn champ too, man.
I was about to say the promoting of her has been tremendous. Like it hasn't been like a cheap thing where they just kind of just threw her in and she's taking these like she's getting beat up by the baby faces and like that. Like they've been promoting her and pushing her really, really well. So I'm like, kudos to WWE for doing that and the booking, the creative, whatever. Because it kind of goes again, kind of go back to the Lash Legend a little bit. It's like people forget, like she was the last woman to be eliminated in the Evolve Women's Battle Royal, the one that Cedric Kerr won. It could have been a hometown thing. They were in Atlanta, so that could have been a thing. Maybe that influenced it a little bit, but it kind of does show that they have some investment in her and think of her in some sort of light. And I know some people were kind of, I don't think, trashing booking down the NXT because after a while she was kind of losing some matches. Her last appearance in NXT was her losing to Kendall Gray. So I know people were kind of like, oh, she's losing to like an Evolve champion, like what we do. So I know people were kind of worried about that. I think being called to the main roster, being this, the way they've been promoting her, booking her, choking, I think is the proper word there. It's been absolutely definitely a good call here. I think it's very interesting to keep an eye on some of her cards or see maybe if she has a good War Games performance here, maybe if some cards shoot up a little bit. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that goes out there. But yeah, I'm a fan of the Last Legend. I think she'll be, and we talked about it when they did the debut with Nia. Like that's a perfect pairing for the both of them, and they can go off and do things for the women's championship and things like that down that line. So I think it's absolutely perfect. But I think it's gonna be a very fun match. Again, the AJ Lee is gonna be the one key takeaway from this season and Last Legend as far as of how those go moving forward. But now on to the men's War Games. We got here the team. I don't know who the captain of this one here. They're going back and forth on it this past Monday. We got CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, and then we got Roman Reigns. Then we got here the Vision, that being Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock. I'm saying Brock Lesnar's name. I'm just thinking about him fucking slipping.
I was dying, dude. I watched the clip like more than you could count it. Oh,
his run back. That man has lost all his aura. He ripped his pants and then he fucking slipped. That dude, I don't think he gives a fuck anymore. That dude's just going in there collecting a paycheck and fucking dipping.
Cowboy Brock, man.
Oh man, Cowboy Brock's on another level right now, ripping pants and fucking slipping. And it makes it funny too. He knows he fucked up or whatever. He even puts the hat on Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker, yeah.
I was like, what the hell? Fucking hilarious. I was like fucking rolled like 5 minutes. You know, like the sound effects and like slipping. Oh, Twitter is very, very quick with it. But yeah, this one here, I mean, I don't know if this is where we'll have our first as far as the winning. Obviously, I'm a CM Punk guy. I love my guy there. Man, this one here, like I feel like if you're going to book the Vision, have them be this dominant force, whatever the case may be, I feel like they're the ones this team needs that victory. Drew it's in that same kind of ballpark here. Brock Lesnar, whatever, Logan Paul, whatever. But it's like, do you really have a team of both of your champions losing? That being CM Punk and that being Cody Rhodes. Like, is that gonna be the ultimate fall there? Obviously you can have Jimmy take the pin there, so it doesn't say they won't hurt them, but is having your team consisting of your two main champions losing gonna be a factor?
I also think
Obviously the
so, and
Roman.
I can give you my take. I think that's probably going to be like the key point of the matches, because essentially everybody like who's on Asian side is basically like title chasing at this point. Like Braun and Break or the Bronze, they're in the title from Team Punk. Drew's been chasing Cody for God knows how long already. Uh, Logan Paul's kind of just been brought in. I think he was really replaced, Seth Rollins or Austin Theory, whatever that was supposed to be. And then Brock is Brock, so he's just there because he's G Paul Heyman guy. But I think that's why I'm leaning towards picking the Vision to win this one, because essentially, like, if the Vision were to lose the match, what was the point of Bronson beating Roman Reigns, and stuff like that? Like, and then what's like? I still go back to like why in the heck Lesnar squash Cena? Like, there has to be something. There has to be a reason for that. Like, they can't just like have him squash and then like he's gonna go in this War Games match. His team loses and then he's gonna disappear. So January for the Royal Rumble. So I think there has to be reasons. So I do see like I honestly wouldn't be surprised if I see like Cody getting pinned or CM Punk pinned by one of these guys, just essentially because I think they're chasing the title. And I think for that reason, I think I'm rolling with the Vision, this one, taking the dub, and yeah, I think that them winning makes more sense than the baby faces winning. Like, I don't think any of this winning does anything. So yeah, I'm rolling with the Vision on this one, and I have one of the champs getting pinned.
Yeah, that's where I was leaning.
That's also perfect, and it's also perfect too, in the sense that like it kind of also like builds Roman Reigns to get back into the title picture, where he's like, hey, if I had the belt, maybe this wouldn't, wouldn't gone pinned, or like even like on Monday Night Raw, where he said like that title later on, something like that. He didn't say who it was, but essentially, if Cody or Punk is getting pinned, like Roman's gonna kind of chase that too. So, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's where I'm more of the lines of, because I was already leaning more towards the Vision. It's just again like having your two champs losing. Like, is that really a good picture for your champs? But it's the Roman Reigns aspect that makes this very interesting, where he's like, I'm just here, but he's a tribal chief. This is your guy. Like, this is the dude that's been to carry this company on his back. Like, is he really just gonna sit back and just say like, oh, I'm just here to help my family, help my cousins out? I really don't think that's in Roman Reigns' nature. So I think that's definitely like one of the more interesting aspects. I don't necessarily say he would turn, but maybe to think of like he maybe accidentally spears somebody, maybe that leads to the victory. Who knows? But I think that's definitely like the little bit of the interesting aspect of that team. And like you just nailed it there. I think it kind of can get him to that way of maybe getting to the title picture. I know obviously the big rumor has been so far is like it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker at WrestleMania. Maybe that's not the route anymore, because now Seth Rollins is hurt. Maybe it's a Roman Reigns versus CM Punk in the main event of night 1 or night 2, whatever. Maybe they run back Cody Rhodes again. Like, you don't know. Obviously, and then WrestleMania is slowly coming up here, so it may not seem like it, but it's slowly. You got to start planting the seeds a little bit for that. So maybe this is your perfect seed to kind of get that seed and kind of let this plant a little bit grow, so we can eventually get there once we do eventually get there. But yeah, this one here, I do have the Braun Bronze, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar, who's obviously just there for the fucking vibes to take this one here. So yeah, no disappearance here on this one. So we'll either be all right or all wrong. I think for the most part, I think we'll be pretty right here. I think the only one you can maybe make a coin toss here will probably be the men's one, but everything else is kind of, I don't want to say predictable, but you can make the case for those parties. But that is the Survivor Series here. Again, only 4 matches, not a lot of matches there. So again, these war game matches are probably going to take up like 45 minutes, an hour. Nikki Bella will probably be like 10, 15 minutes. And then the John Cena will probably be in again, probably like 15, 20 minutes involving like entrances and introductions and stuff like that. So yeah, very excited. We'll be together for it. Obviously we always get together for our PLEs, so we'll be together for it here. And we'll maybe even do a quick little reaction here as far as what the outcome is, maybe some surprises, whatever. You never know with some of these POEs. But since we're on the topic of Survivor Series, it is that time. Again, we talked about it a couple of episodes ago where we're going to be recapping here some past Survivor Series here and giving our top 5 Survivor Series teams here. Now, for some context, what we talked about in the last episode is there is no War Games teams. So no War Game teams from the last like 3-4 years, whatever, how long it's been going on now. We're not going to be talking about those teams. And the one team that was off limits was the 2006 team here, because we talked about last episode here. That was obviously going to be our number 1 pick, which that team consisted of Team Extreme, Matt and Jeff Hardy, CM Punk, DX, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels. We took that team off limits because, again, that was going to be our number 1 pick. So I guess you can make it like an honorable mention if you want, in case for both parties. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, why the fuck did you not pick that 2016? It's because of that. So give me a freaking break.
Yeah.
Go listen to the episode, then come back here. And again, if you're going to be like, oh, why are you not picking Team Bloodline with Sami Zayn and the Usos? Because, again, we're not excluding the War Games. We're excluding the War Games teams here.
And NXT War Games as well.
And NXT War Games. And the NXT War Games. So just do keep that in mind here. Well, shout out to you, by the way, because I will be completely honest. Like, I watch old school wrestling, but it's very hard for me to watch it just because it's a very, very different form of wrestling to what we have now. So, I mean, I can watch it. Am I going to my iPad and be like, oh, I'm going to watch this old school wrestling just for the fuck of it? Sometimes I do that, but I'd rather watch like something like I want to watch. But you put out a good tweet here. The Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, and the Rey Fenix and the Motor City Machine Guns. Like, that promo they cut backstage was like very to what we saw, like the old school Survivor Series. How they do, like, this is like perfect. I like them just talking, each one getting a little bit of a line in. Very cheesy as well. I think some people were like failing to realize that.
And that's the thing too. Like, if you go back and watch like these old Survivor Series matches, like literally before they go out, they're being interviewed like by Mean Gene, and usually they start off with the team captain. So like 99% of the time it's Hulk Hogan, and he's like, well, let me tell you something, brother. I'm here with the natural disaster or whatever the hell it is. Like, and he's just hyping them up. And like, as soon as he hypes them up, like they'll go immediately to the wrestler and just cut like a quick, like 2-minute promo. Yeah. And like, it's very, so as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh damn, like he sounds like the team captain. He's cutting the promo, and like it's transported. So I had to put out that tweet. And I mean, I loved it. I'm a sucker for like those old school promo and matches. They're so gimmicky, and they're honestly kind of fun to watch every now and then. But yeah, I was really, I got excited when they did that promo. Yeah. I don't know if everybody else did. Maybe that was just me, but yeah.
No, I was in the same boat because, like, obviously, like, we're leading up to this episode here. Like, I obviously been watching here, like, when I was like packing cars, sorting cars, like, I put it on the background, watching because I obviously like didn't realize like back then they had like every freaking match was a team consisting of random people. Like it wasn't. I grew up like in the 2000s era of wrestling, so like I grew up with like, oh, it's typically like Raw versus SmackDown, but like back in like the 80s and 90s, like every other freaking match had like like 4 random teams there. So I'm over here like, dude, like I didn't realize they had these many.
93 was the first year where they didn't have all matches, and I think it was the match where Hogan versus Undertaker, where apparently Hogan got dropped on his head.
You got me, brother.
Brother. So yeah. So I think I don't know if it was 93 or 92. It was one of those, but
93. I watched that one. I watched that one in full for just for that match alone. Oh, you got me, brother.
Match, you got me, brother.
Oh man, classic. But so I ranked them here from 5 to 1. Again, honorable mention is going to be the 2006 team. I do also have some funny notes here that we'll talk about in between. Do you want to kick off or I kick off?
I can kick it off, and I know you said you ranked your teams like 1 through 5. I think when we had talked about it, I said like they don't have to be like any particular order. We could just like, you know, so it's our top 5, no particular order. I guess if for some reason we do come across a team that is the same, kind of just like piggyback off each other and stuff like that. And then for some reason if we don't, just kind of go based off why you picked it. But all right.
Yeah.
So I got my 5 teams here. I actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually came up with 7. And I left 2 off, and I just crossed them off today. So I guess if you mention these teams, I'll kind of just can maybe do like another honorable mention or something like that. I'll do it real quickly. But man, where do I want to start off? Do I want to start off current? Because I do have an old school team on here.
Okay. I have a I guess I'll put in some context and maybe help you pick. I have about like 2 old school teams, 1 kind of in the middle, and then 2 like newer age teams. So that's where my
Okay.
list at. And then I did take this one team off just because something happened in the match or like leading up to the match. So it wasn't a full Survivor Series team. So I did take them off just because of that reason. But yeah,
That's kind of interesting because
I did have
I do have
6.
one team that kind of had some not fully, but yeah, I guess you could call it some foolery. Because when I watched it, I'm like, but it's just who's in the match that kind of just still brought upon it. So maybe I'll start with them. I'm gonna go with them. So
That
I'm going
might be
back.
my one I took. That might be the team that I took off. But let's hear it.
So I put on here Team Women NXT from 2019, which consisted of Rhea, Bianca, Io Sky, Tony Storm, and Candice LeRae. So I threw them on here because obviously, like, this was the time that I did like a NXT crossover into the WWE, so it was like a Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT kind of thing. Which I wish they would do that content again. It was so interesting. And that's when like the Black and Gold NXT was like right then and there. That's when they had like the Undisputed Era and all those guys that we all like. Um, so they defeated Team Raw, which consisted of Charlotte, Natalia, the Kabuki Warriors, aka Asuka, and Kairi Sane, and Sarah Logan, who is also known as Valhalla. Then they also defeated Team SmackDown, which consisted of Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes, Carmella, Dana Brooks, Lacey Evans, and Nikki Cross. But yeah, this one I did still put on there, even though I was kind of hesitant just because in the match, like Eve and Candice get like taken out, and essentially they get walking like taken to the back, and then they come out towards the end. Actually, that they get the dub. So the Soul Survivors end up being Rhea, Candice LeRae, and Io. But I think with a little bit of foolery, like to be like the NXT women there, like obviously they weren't like big household names that they are now. Obviously for some people they were, but it's like your common like just Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, PLE's watchers, like you're gonna be like, who the hell are these people? Like, and so essentially like look at the way she is now. Same thing for Bianca, Tony Storm is obviously killing it and over there in AEW. Candice LeRae is obviously taking a little step back. Her like I think we even brought it up. I don't know if I brought it up on the last pod or we just talked about off, but she's doing a little bit behind the scene work as producer, stuff like that. So just alone, I had to put them up there. It was kind of like that new wave of NXT women that essentially that are here now that are currently in the women's division. So for that reason, they are on one of my top 5 teams.
And that was a team that I added late to my list. So I did add them on. It was a team that I actually watched the match last night. And I was like, man, that team was absolutely stacked. Again, you to echo everything that you just said there. What Rhea Ripley has become arguably the biggest women's star. I don't want to say maybe a hot take, like you can make the case right now that she would be on the women's Mount Rushmore. I don't think that's crazy to say that. You can definitely make the argument. Tony Storm, like you mentioned here, has been a household name in AEW. It's kind of crazy how bad, again, WWE fumbled that. Bianca Belair, we know what she's accomplished. Candice LeRae, again, kind of on the back burner, like you just mentioned here, but still a very respectable name. Still puts on good matches when called upon. I know the speed people don't care about the speed stuff, but even the speed stuff was pretty good. And then Io Shirai, again, Io Sky, we know what she's became or has become. And is absolutely a star in that division with Rhea. So yeah, that was a fun one. So yeah, that was the one that I added late to my list because I didn't have them on. I was going back and forth between them and a different team. Maybe towards the end of the episode or when we recap our 5 teams, maybe I'll talk about the team that I was going to put on there. But and my ranking here, I know again we didn't talk about rankings, but I had them. number 3. As far as
Yeah, I was fighting to keep them on, and I'll ended up choosing their team over a certain men's team, and the only reason why I cut this certain men's team because there's just one member that I'm not like too fond of, and I feel like shouldn't be on Survivor Series teams, maybe, but I don't know if that's maybe giving it away. But yeah, maybe if this team doesn't get mentioned, maybe I'll do like a little honorable mention for this team because actually it's funny too that I don't want to say too much. I've said too much.
All right, so I'll kick it off to me. Just because again we had the same team there on this one. Again, I had 2 old school teams, so I will mention these 2 here. We're kicking it back a little bit old school here again. We're gonna go all the way back to 1990. We're
Oh,
gonna
I
be
think we
kicking
got
it
the same team.
here to the Warriors here. We had Ultimate Warrior, Legion of Doom, that being Hawk and
Oh,
Animal,
never mind. We
and
don't. All right.
the Texas Tornado. They defeated the team here of Perfect Team, the Perfect Team. They defeated Mr. Perfect, Axis Smash, and Crush with the famous
Yeah.
managers Bobby Heenan and Mr. Fuji. Um, Again, I don't watch a lot of old school wrestling, so I went through every year. Um, and we've talked about the Von Erichs, like we've talked about. I don't think I mean did I maybe I haven't. When we saw, we didn't see it together, but we saw it when we watched the Iron Claw. Um, that movie just did like something to me as far as that.
Yeah.
Where like obviously we're brothers, we have another brother here, so like the Von Erichs is just a very like interesting story and like a very like tragic and a very like interesting story, and however lightly you want to look at it. So watching that match, I was like, dude, like I think I feel like I have to put them on my list. So seeing Kerry Von Erich as a Texas Tornado, like that was kind of crazy. And if you guys again know his story, he was at this time already, he already had the amputated leg. So like, and he was moving like pretty good. Like if you're just watching it with the naked eye, like you would not know that happened to him. So that alone was just like crazy to me. And I don't think again I've been on record. I've never been like the biggest Ultimate Warrior fan. Like he just does like he's like an enhanced version of Hulk Hogan. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, just the match itself was very fun. I enjoyed watching it. Legion of Doom was also very fun. The original Hawk and Animal. Obviously, I grew up with the later version of it, but seeing the original was pretty cool. And then the heels itself, like seeing like Bobby Heenan and Mr. Fuji are just so like
Oh god.
what's the word? Are so dramatic.
They are.
Bobby Heenan is so
Yeah.
goaded.
Bobby
I
Heenan's
love
goated, dude. Yeah.
Bobby Heenan is so goaded. Even some of the stuff with Andre the Giant too, and some other like WrestleManias or Survivor Series. But there's a what's Survivor Series? Is it? I don't remember the year, but there's a Survivor Series. But it's Andre and Bobby Heenan. It's the team with Jake the Snake, and they're like terrified of damn. What's
The
I'm blanking on the
snake.
snake's name.
Yeah. Damien.
Yeah, Damien. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like freaking
Yeah.
out over Damien.
I think
So
that's the one
like
where he throws. I think he throws the snake towards Andre, and like Andre leaves the actual ring. I want to say that's how he gets eliminated.
so like yeah, just that stuff alone is very was very fun. It's like a 14-minute, like 13-minute match, I think. But yeah, I was like, man, that team was pretty stacked. I enjoyed it again. It was very fun to watch it again. Like we just mentioned, the Von Erichs. I just enjoy that story, enjoy them all as a whole. And that again, that movie just kind of put me like on the Von Erich train. So yeah, that I love that match and I love that team.
Yeah, I do recall watching that because if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the one where Hawk and Animal just like start dueling it out with them
Yeah.
watching right, and then they all just get
Yeah,
eliminated.
I thought I was like, dude,
Yeah,
they're just fighting in the ring, and then fucking, I think it's I think it's Earl that just called. I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck
Earl
is
didn't
happening?
give a damn after throwing everybody out.
I'm
Like
like,
that's
dude,
so
what the
like if
fuck
you,
is
I think
happening?
that's what I love. I think that's what I love the most about like going back and watching like a lot of this old school stuff. Like you how like gimmicky, how much of a character like a lot of these guys had. Like even the referees, like Errol didn't give a damn. He was cutting everybody out. He was throwing them out. The way they were getting knocked out. The managers back in the day, like you know, you mentioned like Bobby the Brain Heenan, Mr. Fuji, Jimmy Hart, like all those guys. Man, they're so good. It's great. But that's a good team. I did think I thought about putting them on there, but ultimately I did not. But sticking with the old school, the reason I thought we were gonna have the same team is because you mentioned the year. I have from that same Survivor Series, from 1990. I don't know if maybe you have it on here, but I have the $1 Million team, which consisted of $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, the Greg the Hammer Valentine, the Honky Tonk Man, and the debut of the Undertaker. They defeated the Hart Foundation, Dusty Rhodes, and Coco Beware, and the Hart Foundation consisting of Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart. $1 Million Man was the only man who survived. I think he ended up beating up Bret. I think Bret was the last one. I put this here like solely like this is the debut of the Undertaker. Like that alone, like I think who was on commentary? I think it was Roddy Piper is on commentary, and man, on commentary is hilarious as hell. But he's like, "Whoa, wait, look at the size of that guy."
Yeah.
So he pretty much dominated most of the match. He gets eliminated because he starts beating the shit out of Dusty Rhodes and gets counted out by none other than Earl Hebner. So that was the one why I kept putting them on. But I'm just like, man, no, you can't leave on for the debut, the Undertaker, and then of course the classic $1 Million Man. Dude was goated. But yeah, only with the $1 Million team.
So I was thinking about putting them on there. It's just the rest of the team that couldn't sell me on it. I was like there's some other guys on there. I'm like, I thought about putting the team that lost on here just because the star power of that. Dusty Rhodes, the Hart Foundation, Coco Beware, not the craziest name, but like, man, like that's a cool team. But I guess since we're on the topic here, I don't want to say this is a hot take, but I guess it's more of a natural conversation through this. I was having the conversation with the wifey, and I don't think she understood my question. So, or maybe I was just wording it incorrectly. Because obviously, like we talk about here, like the old school wrestling is like the Undertaker, right? The debut of the Undertaker at Survivor Series, and how like a lot of these characters kind of like flushed out as we got into like the Attitude Era, and even now, like there's not a lot of character base like that. Obviously we could have made the case for Bray Wyatt. He was more maybe like one of the last few like supernatural type characters. Like the question I was raising was like, do you think it's surprising how long the Undertaker was able to last with that persona? I know in the middle he switched to the All American Badass, but like even in the middle age of like 2004 to all the way that he retired, like the fact that he was able to maintain this dead man persona, like he's dead but he's alive. Like how do you wake up dead and out of your bed? Like he was dead but he was alive. Like explaining that to like a modern day, like that was the point I was getting to her. I was like, I think if you were to do that character now, like it doesn't work. But the fact that he was able to like do this for so long, again, I know he has American Badass persona in the mix of that. Like to me, I think that's like what makes the Undertaker so interesting is like how he was able to like maintain this longevity of that character and without it getting so stale. And I know his Attitude Era stuff was pretty exciting, like the Dark Ministry, like hanging Steph from the freaking crucifix, whatever the hell, like all that stuff, like definitely helps. But I think it's very interesting that his character like was able to survive this like longevity of wrestling. And when you think about Mount Rushmore's, like he's probably on there. You can make the case for him. He's not on my personal, but there's a reason why he's so popular with other people, other fans, like even the card market. Like his stuff consistently moves. So like, watching all these here, like it was like had me thinking of like how he was able to do that. So I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah, and I mean, even growing up as a kid, he was like one of my favorites. Like I remember like for example, like the 07 Royal Rumble, like when it came down to him and Shawn, like I loved both of them and I was like so torn. I'm like, who do I want to win? Like obviously I think a little bit deep down, like I was rooting for Shawn Michaels because obviously he's from our hometown, but like when the Undertaker won, like I wasn't mad about it and I wasn't like sad about it. So yeah, like his career has been crazy. Like I think the probably more interesting part was the fact that he was able to come back to the dead man persona. And obviously the way they did it was if you a little time jump, but like he was buried alive essentially by Kane, who was his on-screen brother. And then when he comes back at WrestleMania 20, he's portrayed as the dead man, and like they kind of getting like, oh no, you're not real. And like Kane does like the whole thing where he puts his hand and touches him. But for him to go from like that and then essentially carry that character all the way up until like his retirement, even when he would like come and go, like he was still that dead man persona. And I think that's probably maybe where it started to get a little bit stale because like he was starting to move a little bit slower. He couldn't do like, essentially all his moves. They didn't look as, I don't know want to say like effective maybe in a sense, because he was getting up there in age. And I think when he made that little switch to that American Badass, like really, really quickly, especially when he had like that gimmick match with AJ Styles during the
AJ
COVID
Styles.
WrestleMania. Yeah, I think that was like the kind of like the turn where he was like, this thing is kind of like not outdated, but it's also not like really working because it's not believable in a sense. But yeah, the fact that he was able to carry that dead man gimmick for that long is crazy. I think I prefer more of the dead incorporated badass Undertaker.
Yeah.
It's kind of where I'm at with the the rolling from the Limp Biscuit and the motorcycle. That's kind of essentially where I remember a lot of his stuff. But yeah, I mean, dude's a legend. So
yeah, dude's an absolute
Goated.
legend, and he's on my next team here. It's not that team, but he is on my next team here. This is the team again going back a little bit further here. We got the 1993 Survivor Series here.
Ooh.
We got the Undertaker. We got the team was called the All Americans, but we got Undertaker. We got the Steiner brothers, and we got Lex Luger. Again, another good enjoyable match here. This
This
one
is
here
post Hogan, right? Is this post Hogan?
post Hogan, yeah, post Hogan,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Because they're promoting him. They're
Lex
Lex Luger's all dressed up like in the U.S. gear and like promoting him here.
Lex Express. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I will be brutally honest. I was never like a big fan of Lex Luger. Still not. Like I'm not like glazing Lex Luger, and I think it dates back to a lot of the old.
She's got an interesting story. Yeah.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting story. So like I would never like I heard the story and like seen some of the stuff and like his overall character and like him as a person never really sat well with me. But I think it's a lot of the stuff that we've been seeing the last like couple of years. His devotion to like religion and stuff like that was very eye opening to me. His stuff now that he's doing with DDP, with Cody Rhodes, obviously being inducted to the Hall of Fame this past year, like that kind of really like changed my perspective on him. And so yeah, just seeing him in this match was very very cool. The Steiners as well, like Rick and Scott, like that was cool. Scott, was it Scott or Rick? Rick gets hurt in the middle of the way, so it kind of gets a little bit awkward because he gets like taken out, and then it's just Scott in there. Oh, I'm sorry, no, yeah, Rick gets hurt, and then it's just Scott, and then like I don't know, my version of Scott Steiner is Big Papa Pump and like big booty daddy and like Scott Steiner, man, like that's my version of Scott Steiner. So seeing him in this different light again was very very in a different fashion was very 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 cool for me. And the Undertaker, good old fashioned Earl Hebner, doesn't even get eliminated. He gets again counted out by Yoko. He's beating the crap out of Yokozuna, and it doesn't even hit 10. It doesn't hit 10. He just disqualifies them both. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And they defeat an interesting team here called the Foreign Fanatics. They defeat Crush, Hugh Becker, Ludwig, and Yokozuna. And then they had a lot of managers here. They had Jim Cornette, which that guy was a character, Johnny Polo, and Mr. Fuji once again. So Mr. Fuji kind of making my list here twice. But that is technically one of my third team here, counting the NXT one. But that was a fun one for me to watch here again. Not the biggest Lex Luger guy, but that was a fun one to see. Kind of see where they're kind of at during this time, because they're obviously trying to promote him as like the next big thing, but it was never anything like compared to Hulk Hogan. So yeah, it was very interesting to see Lex in that light there.
Yeah, he's got a really interesting story. I was like you, was like even just like going back and like some of his older stuff, like I think it was like one of those things where they just probably just missed the ball. Cause I know there's that story of like he did the whole Lex Express US tour around riding this bus, going like city to city, and essentially like it was kind of like building him up to be the world champion. And then I think it was SummerSlam where they ended up having the match and he ended up losing. So it was really interesting, and essentially, I think he ends up going to WCW like pretty shortly after that, or something like that, within the same frame. Shows up on Nitro at the mall. So, yeah, but that's an interesting team. I do like it. So that was your third one, right? Or that was your second one? That was your third one.
Technically my third, because we have the NXT women's and then my two old schools. So yeah, technically my third.
Okay, so this is my third one here. Okay, cool. So we're rolling. We're not so far. We don't have nothing similar. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go to the year 2004. I got Team Guerrero in 2004. This is the team that consists of Eddie Guerrero, John Cena, Rob Van Dam, and Big Show. They defeated the team of Kurt Angle, newly debuted Carlito. Carlito had just won the U.S. title for John Cena. And then the little bit of the weaker point right here, because I do remember these guys but obviously they're not really big names now. But also consists of Luther Reigns and Mark Jindrak. This team was pretty. When I watched this match, it was pretty funny because Carlito. I think at this time Carlito had just debuted and he took the title off of John Cena. With tomfoolery using the chain on him, if I remember correctly. So when this match starts, like John Cena just like storms out and actually like chases down Carlito, and so Carlito never really makes
wasn't
it
he
to the
like?
match.
I think while I was watching that match last night, like John Cena was like stabbed, right, or some shit like that.
I don't know. That's probably from like his what's Carlito's bodyguard, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, John Cena essentially like Carlito never made it to the match. John Cena scared away. They start the match. The only guy to get eliminated from this was Rob Van Dam, and if I did remember correctly, I think there was some foolery involved with RVD's elimination. But essentially, they ran the gauntlet on this. Nobody else got defeated. So this was also like I think they were able to recruit Big Show because this was the storyline where they shaved him, where they hit Big Show with the tranquilizer. They shaved his head. That big
oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So yeah, man, this team absolutely dominated. Just had like Eddie was hadn't won the world title yet, obviously. Obviously he's coming up on that. Obviously, we know what John Cena is. I mean, we're coming on his last match, but this is like one of his first few Survivor Series matches. Raw Van Dam, absolute legend, one of my favorites. And then we got, the Big Show, also absolute legend. So, yeah, Team Guerrero.
Top team. Yeah, that was one of my other honorable mention teams. That was one that I was considering putting on there, but they didn't make my cut. So we're kind of going to go towards kind of the same era there. But before I do that, I do want to make a note. 1996 Survivor Series. Like, did Vince and like WWE really think like replacing Razor Ramon and Diesel with two schmucks was like a good idea? I was watching it. I was like, what year is this? I'm like, dude, I was like tripping for a little bit. I'm like, dude, I totally forgot when they left to WCW. Like, they just replaced them with two random dudes.
Two random guys. Yeah.
Commentary is just trying to get them over so much. I don't know if it may be Vince, was it Jim Ross? I don't know who it was. So somebody will have to quote me on that, or I have to go back and watch it. They're like, oh, like these guys are much younger, much better looking than the other guy who had this name. I'm like, dude, what in the world was this? I was like, there's no team from 1996 on my, but I was again going through my years here. I was watching. I like, and what in what world did that think that was a good idea? I was like, dude, that was just so bad, and they're getting booed like throughout the whole freaking match. It's absolutely insane. So I want to make a quick note of that before I get away from the 90s and 80s Survivor Series teams here. But sticking with it here,
interesting. Yeah, I don't know how they thought that was gonna work. That's just
like I would need to have like, I'm pretty sure it's been said on record, but I would need to really have like them really sit down and kind of like try to explain like what was the idea behind that. Exactly. Next team here, around that same era, but we're gonna go back a couple of years before. We're gonna go to 2001. This is where they're doing the Alliance, WCW, WWE teams here. So this one here, I am going with team WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it. It was a team consisting of The Rock, Chris Jericho, The Undertaker once again, Kane, and Big Show. And they do defeat the team here, the Alliance. That was Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam, Booker T, and Shane McMahon. Again, I think the names kind of all speak for themselves there. Absolute legends in all retrospectives. Was an absolute fun match as well. It's kind of like a crazy ass match. Again,
yeah, I actually had this team as this was on one of my honorable mention teams. Honestly, that is I think one of the longer matches.
Yeah,
like Survivor Series wise, it's pretty long.
Yeah, it was one of the longer ones that I again I watched it on Netflix with the VPN. It was kind of like not even towards the halfway bar. I'm like, dude, how long is this freaking match?
Yeah,
and it's even with like skipping like the promos. Let me try to see if I can find the runtime here.
44 minutes and 47 seconds.
44. Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, it felt like that. It was definitely a freaking long one. But yeah, again, all stars and all retrospective there. Don't need to really make a case for any of them here. First time The Rock is making my list, and along with Chris Jericho and Kane. Thinking about it now, freaking Undertaker made my list twice now. Spoiler alert, he's not on my spoiler alert, not on my my number one team, but kind of just shows again the significance that Undertaker has with this pay-per-view, PLE, whatever you want to call it now. But yeah, absolute loaded team here. I was actually like the first time again, like I've actually like sat down and watched that match. It was kind of craziness, like big. I think it was how did he get eliminated? I forgot who eliminated who. It was just a bunch of foolery. I think the sole survivor was The Rock. Yes, it was.
I think it comes
The Rock was. The Rock. It goes on The Rock. Yeah, it goes The Rock to Stone Cold. Stone Cold eliminates Jericho, and then Stone Cold and The Rock. Yeah, it's sole survivor.
Yeah.
What was The Rock there? So that's a very fun one. Highly recommend if you guys got the time. Obviously, like I just mentioned, it's 44. It's 45 freaking minutes. So if you got the time, go back and watch that one here.
Put it on. So, put it on the big screen when you're cooking dinner. Put it on.
When you're cooking your turkey, you're doing whatever.
Yeah.
You're putting up your Christmas tree. Put that match on and just watch it for a good time. It is a very enjoyable.
If you're a Stranger Things fan and you're maybe get a little sad when these last 2 episodes are gonna come out and you want to feel a little happy, put on that Survivor match. 40 minutes right there.
There you go. And that card's actually pretty stacked too. Like they had there were the Dudley Boys versus the Hardys. Like they're on there. I think Edge. Who did he fight? He fought Test.
They have like a lot of like WCW titles on the line. I think at that point they might have been doing like unifications or something like that. So
they did card. That one there. They do the unification, the Edge and Test. That was actually a fun match. So they do the unification of the US, the WCW US, and then the Intercontinental. So it was a pretty cool one. So it was nice seeing Edric Hope, whatever name you want to call him by these days. But yeah, very, very, very exciting. We do not have the same teams, which I maybe might change right here. Who knows? There's something in me. Something in me that tells me we have the same team.
So I got. So you have one more, right? Or do you have 2 more?
I got one more.
Okay. So then after this, I have one more. Okay. So I'm going to 2016, and I am going with Team Raw Women.
Oh, okay.
It consists of Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, Nia Jax, and Alicia Fox. They defeated the team of Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Naomi, and Natalia. So this is, I think, also kind of like around the time when I think they started doing women Survivor Series matches. I mean, just both sides, like Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, Becky, Alexa. I mean, you can even throw Carmella in there because she had a little run there. Naomi, the run she was just on. Natty's an absolute legend. Like, she's still killing it, and obviously she's doing off WWE stuff like Bloodsport and stuff like that. Not still here. She's in War Games, this Saturday. And then Alicia Fox, like her character back in the day was just freaking hilarious. She gives me a lot of like Chelsea Green vibes, like back in the day. Like she was just like that funny. Like every time she was just on TV, she was just hilarious. And I know she's still active in TNA, if I'm not mistaken. I think she goes by Victoria Crawford, if I'm not mistaken. I think the last time I saw her, she was teamed up with Tessa Blanchard. I don't know if that's still a team. Also, she's that same funny gimmick, but regardless, she was just hilarious, and I loved it. So the Soul Survivor, Charlotte and Bayley, and after the match, Charlotte beats up Bayley, just kind of like proving like her dominance, that I'm the it girl and stuff like that. And I think this is also the time where they had just did their Splan Brit. So like Charlotte was the Raw champion, Becky was the SmackDown and stuff like that. But yeah, all the women in this match were just insane, and they are insane to this day. With this section, I think Carmella, because obviously Carmella doesn't really wrestle anymore. I don't know if she's planning to come back, but if she does, love it, funny. But yeah, everybody else is just killing it, so I had to put them on there. So, Team Raw Women 2016.
And that is a perfect segue to my final team. And we're going to be staying in the same year.
So you left off the team probably
2016. It is Team SmackDown Live. that is a team of Shane McMahon, Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles, and the Wyatt family, that being consistent of Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt with the mascot James Ellsworth.
Yeah.
So that is my top Survivor Series team. Again, probably from a name standpoint, you could probably make the argument like it's not like the biggest tier name, but like we just mentioned here, this was like the era of wrestling. Like we really started like diving deep back into it. And again, something about the brand split during that time that was very, very exciting. I honestly don't like Shane McMahon that much, so I was like, oh, like, do I really want to put him in my number
That's
one spot?
the only reason why I left. They were my honorable mention, and that's the only reason why I left the Monsters on that damn team. Like, I don't care. Like,
Yeah,
I know the whole thing was like, oh, like I'm gonna ride or die with my team or my brand, whatever. But I was like, yeah, he had no business being out there. Even get
yeah.
concussed in the
Now,
match
I
when I watched it.
believe me, believe me, that is what I fought with this team. I think it's just the ending in general that like
And he's
gets me
good
like
with Bray. Yeah,
with Bray. Like
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
that ending of him eliminating both Rollins and Reigns. That's just like that to me is what like makes that
I had a
match
hard
so
time
good.
leaving them off too, but the hatred, or not hatred, but like the disliking of the Shane McMahon. It's like that's kind of why I left off the 0-1 team too, because Shane is in that match. I know he's on the other side of he's on
Yeah,
the invasion side, but he's just like, yeah, you have no business in there. But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and then again,
what can you
it's
do?
just AJ Styles. They during that time protected Braun Strowman as much as possible. He gets counted out, and then he by James Ellsworth, and then James Ellsworth gets put through a table. So like that whole era again is just very very fun for me. I enjoyed that so much, and then
I think
again
he
with
even
like
gets it. Well, Dean Ambrose hits him with the dirty D's, right? And that's essentially how he gets
yeah
eliminated. AJ, yeah, I
yeah
know they were feuding.
yeah he hits him with the because that's when they were feuding. And then he hits him
Yeah,
with the dirty deeds, and then yeah, he gets eliminated. I think Seth Rollins is the one that pins him after that. Oh yeah, because they
yeah,
do the shield stuff. They do the shield stuff.
that's
They
right. Yeah,
beat him up.
yeah,
Yeah, so they do all their shield stuff because Reigns and Rollins were on the opposite end there. But yeah, that again, that match started as a phenomenal match from start to finish. Even Kevin Owens and the Chris Jericho stuff, even leading up to that, was very funny.
yeah.
Um, the whole listing, Chince McMahon, all that stuff is very, very fun for
Sucker
me. I was
hair
like, man,
mom
like
AJ.
soccer mom, AJ. Like there's just a part of me where I could not leave this team off this list.
Yeah.
So that had to be my number one. Again, you can make the argument, not the greatest name tier. Again, I think the only argument there is Shane McMahon, if I'm being completely honest. But to me, it wasn't enough to outweigh the one of my top and favorite Survivor Series teams that we've had during this duration of this PLE and pay-per-view.
Yeah, so it's funny because there's actually members in that match that are in this other team that I'm picking. That's my last team, not my number one top team, but in my top five. But I'm going back to 2013. Team Shield obviously consists of Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and the Real Americans, which was Jack Swagger and Cesaro, aka Claudio Castagnoli. They defeated the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, Cody Rhodes, Goldust, and Rey Mysterio. So when I watched this match, it was pretty crazy because you can kind of see like what they were planning for the Shield so early. Obviously they had just debuted a year prior in the 2012 Survivor Series, but in the match, like Dean Ambrose quickly gets eliminated, and then so the
Yeah.
Republicans. So it's down to just Roman and Seth, and they essentially take on all five of the other guys and essentially eliminate them. When it comes to I think Rollins ends up getting eliminated, but then Roman Reigns takes out Rey Mysterio, and I think who else? Was it Goldust or Cody? I don't remember one of those two. That was the last two. But yeah, essentially Roman Reigns is the last survivor. I mean, the Shield is so monumental and so influential, even for us. Like when we started watching wrestling again, like that was a big part of us watching again was the Shield, the Wyatt family. That era is goated in my eyes, and this team was goated. So yeah, had to walk away, put the in there. Yeah, that's my top five. But yeah, my other honorable mentions, like you mentioned, was your 2016 SmackDown Live, 2001 WWF. So those are all good teams. So we essentially kind of still had almost the same thought process, but yeah, I'm glad we got
Yeah.
different teams.
Yeah, like same thought process, different teams. I really wanted to go old school. Like I didn't say like I really want to go old school. I just want to have a little bit more. And again, I think those teams kind of speak for themselves. Again, the Von Erichs, the Steiners, the Undertakers, like those guys kind of make that for me there. The WWF team, again, star-studded team there, and then again the women's as well, and then the Shimmer. I think my honorable mention. I don't remember what year it was, but they were down to 4. It was Rey Mysterio, Triple H, the Hardys, not the Hardys. Matt gets taken out. It's Triple H, Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, and is it Punk? Who's the 4th one? I forgot. I don't know who the 4th one is. It was against Team Umaga. Let me see if I can find it really quick. It's gonna bother me. And Viscera freaking. Oh, Kane. No, it was Kane. It was Kane. It was that team there. I was like, because they had Matt Hardy, but Matt Hardy got taken out, I think backstage or something like that. So they were down to 4. I was like, oh man, like, can I really have them be? They still win. Triple H still gets the victory in his team. I was like, oh man, like, do I really want to put a team of 4 on there? Again, some other teams probably do have 4, but I was like, like, do I really want to do that there? And then like Kane gets eliminated pretty fast. I totally forgot about freaking Big Daddy V, like that era of Big Daddy V. Like that dude was fucking huge. I was like, holy shit. I was like, God. I was like, holy CW version. Wow, that dude was fucking huge. And there were some other teams there. Like there's a team of like CM Punk and Kofi that I thought about putting on there. But yeah, those are my 5 teams there. Again, very proud that we're different. I do like that. Same thought process, same area. But definitely was fun to have some different teams there. So sign up in the comments down below, guys, or tweet us, follow us wherever. So who has the better lineup? Is it Bropio? Is it Moon 3PO? Let us know down in the comments down below. Obviously, there's going to be a little sort of this here. So obviously, comment down below who has the greatest or the better fire teams here. Curious to get y'all's opinion on that. But yeah, very fun episode. Again, make sure you do follow us everywhere. You can follow me at Moon3PO. You can follow Bropio here at Dad Who Collects. We may be back here for post-reaction episodes of our series. We're going to be pretty busy kind of leading up here. There's a lot of events going on. Obviously, guys, it's holiday season, so there's a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces here that are going to be happening. We got an in-person wrestling event that we might go to. It's my birthday. We got Christmas, all that kind of good stuff. So there's a lot of things moving on. So bear with us here if there is a little bit of lack of content when it comes to the podcast. Just because, again, we're going to be very busy. So just to keep that in mind. So we will, try to do our best here to get episodes out when we can, kind of sit down for an hour, hour and a half, and just talk wrestling, talk cards, because, hey, that's what we like to do here. But before I wrap everything up here officially, Bropio, any final thoughts here for the good old listeners of collecting the 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I don't really got much. I mean, if you got a Survivor Series team that we didn't talk about, because there was a lot, let us know. Tweet us, leave us a comment on TikTok, something. Let us know who you picked and stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, I don't got much. Enjoy your time with your family. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy Survivor Series this Saturday. Let's ride.
Yeah, comment down below. Did we miss a team? Let us know. I'm pretty sure there is. I'm pretty sure there might be some old heads like, oh, you didn't put Hulk Hogan on the team. I don't, whatever.
Yeah, no Hogan.
No Hogan on our team. It's what it is. But yeah, if you have a fair Survivor Series team, comment down below or follow us again. You can let us know, and maybe I'll have to edit this list here a year from now as we circle back to Survivor Series a year from now. But yes, guys, have a good Thanksgiving whenever you listen to this. Again, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, more as I'm looking at this time here, probably not going to happen. So you're probably listening on Friday. So hopefully you had a good time with your family and friends. Hopefully it was all thankful, I guess I should say, and hopefully you guys do enjoy.
Shout out to the Gobbledygooker.
Oh God, seeing that freaking live again. Well, not live, but like watching that back, I was like, dude, that's so fucking bad. Like now I know why freaking WWE was on the verge of like freaking ending during that time, because Jesus Christmas, that was freaking terrible. But yeah, shout out to the what's his name? Gobbledygooker. What the fuck? What is his name?
Gobbledygooker.
Tops. Yep. Make a tops card of that damn guy. How does he not have a tops card in the tops card? I mean, how is he not in the ape card in the ape collection? Come on, now, Tops. You're missing out on some good old marketing and turkey and Thanksgiving.
That would have been a good dark energy card right there. Pretty scary looking.
Dude, it was kind of creepy. Like, and the fact that people were kind of like screen for it too was kind of alarming. I was like, what the hell was going on back in that era? But yeah, guys, hopefully you guys had a good Thanksgiving, or maybe in some crazy scenario, I'm able to get this out before then. Hopefully you do have a good Thanksgiving. Again, make sure you do follow us everywhere at Moon3PO. You can follow BroPO here at Dad Who Collects. All the links are going to be down in the description down below. You can find me over on X, Twitter, Instagram. If you guys want to go support the Whatnot streams, we're there. Our eBay storefronts as well. I know we've upgraded our stores as well. So if you want to find some cheap wrestling cards here for collections, I'll also have those linked down below. We have some discounts running on our stores. So go out, get some cards there for your friends, for your family, for Christmas gifts. If you want to come help support us, help support the content, because that's where these funds go to, and supporting us there and supporting our content. So thank you guys for listening, watching, and we will see y'all in the next one.